There's a big difference between traction off-road and traction on pavement. Today we'll talk about pressure that will help you get the best out of both. Welcome to the Pit Stop Tire Pros, where we give you the best advice from our decades of experience helping people with their automotive needs. So tire pressure, there are many concerns that most have with their vehicles, but tires should be at the top of the list. Why? Because the patches of rubber on the four corners of your vehicle is where you get any traction to make the machine go. Like the old saying, where the rubber meets the road. This contact surface and how the two meet is vitally important, and the different kind of conditions like gravel, dirt, mud, and pavement all create different conditions that will dictate how each corner grabs and allows grip translated to travel. So first, how do we know what tire pressure to set each wheel at? Well, all vehicles from the manufacturer have a tire placard that is always on the driver's side door. This displays the factory tire size of the front, rear, and spare tire pressures. Now the rule of thumb during most travel times of the year, summertime, being as close to this recommended tire pressure is ideal because the manufacturer has taken into account the weight and the specifications of the vehicle, including power to weight ratios, to calculate the ideal pressure for maximum performance, traction, and gas mileage. In colder climates like here in Colorado, we have to adjust tire pressure because of our occasional sub-zero temperatures in the winter because of safety devices like the TPMS system or tire pressure monitoring system. So in these cases, we will bump tire pressure up in the winter a few pounds to compensate. So when tire pressure is set at the ideal pressure based on the manufacturer recommendation, tire footprint is utilizing the maximum amount of tread pattern in order to give the vehicle its best traction at all road and highway speeds. When a tire is underinflated to the recommendations or is not slightly compensated for consistent heavy loads, the tire will wear a crown pattern like here. As you can see, the outer edges of the tire shoulder is worn more than any other part. The inverse is also true when tires are overinflated. The center is the overly worn section. Both scenarios not only reduce the desired contact pattern of the tread, which will lead to a reduction in traction, but also wear the tires unevenly, causing a reduction in tire life and ultimately more money out the door. Off-road is a totally different animal. When you're traveling off-road, you're always at a much slower speed. There's going to be loose debris between you and the surface, and the contact pattern of the tire is going to look much different on every terrain. In most cases, if you're camping, overlanding, or just going for an outdoor cruise, it's going to be to your advantage to lower your tire pressure in order to gain better traction in these conditions. Here's why.
When your tire is at the recommended tire pressure, the tire is holding its flat contact pattern in order to meet a flat paved surface. But when you're traveling over rocks, ruts, and drains, this pressure is causing the tread and the contact surface to come to a meeting point. This creates a very small surface contact area that doesn't allow the majority of the tread of the tire to grab as much of the trail surface as possible. Now let's air down and see what kind of pattern we can create.
This is the Boulder Tools Rapid Air Down kit. First, remove the cap and screw on the valve stem adapter until it's fingered tight. Use the outer core removal end to pull the core out of the stem. Once it's out, pull the large collar to release the air. Dump the excess air in the line to zero the gauge. Push the release collar back toward the stem to check air pressure. Once you've reached the desired pressure, screw the valve core back in with the outer core installer. As soon as the core is finger tight, or around 8 inch-pounds, you can then remove the tool from the stem, double checking your pressure with a gauge. Just a quick note, if you are not using valve caps, allowing water and road chemicals into your valve stem, it can cause the threads of the core to seize in the stem and won't allow you to remove the core. So make sure that you're keeping your valve stems and cores in good serviceable condition. The Boulder Toolkit also supplies you with extra cores and caps. Now that we've come down to between 15 and 25 psi, you can see that there is more tread that is touching the surface of the trail and more like oozing over that surface. This creates a wider contact point that these AT tires can utilize more of the biting edges to give the vehicle more grip and traction. If you lower too far down below 15 psi and a rock or object protruding from the trail puts enough pressure on the sidewall, it can de-bead the tire, and now you're stuck lifting the vehicle and trying to get the bead resealed back to the rim, which is not fun to do in the field. With the tires lowered down now, the truck can fold and mold over every object protruding from the trail, giving us a much greater tread to contact ratio, ergo much better traction performance off-road. After we've traveled over the slow, uneven trail and back to level, maintained roads, we must not forget to air back up. This is my Smitty Bilt 2780 air pump, which is a DC air compressor. Smitty Bilt is a brand that I have used and sold at my shop, so definitely a trustworthy brand. Super easy operation, and airing back up is quick. It's extremely important to air back up if you're going to drive at normal street to highway speeds, because extreme low tire pressure will create more heat because of the greater contact surface created by the pressure, which is why if you have a leaking tire with low pressure, they tend to blow out because of the increased heat generated. I will leave a description to this pump and its bigger brother, the 2781, for heavy off-roaders, as well as the Rapid Air Down kit in the description below. So remember, when traveling on or off-road, keep in mind where your tire pressure is at for maximum traction, safety, and maximizing every dollar you spend on the rubber that meets the road. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for other videos, leave them in the comment section below. Subscribe and like this video if it has helped you. Stay tuned in for more videos to come, and thanks for joining.